Welcome to Spider-Verse Minute, the tri-weekly podcast where we watch Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse 1 minute at a time. I'm Caroline Slater.
And I'm her brother Sean.
Today we are doing minute 10. It starts with Miles leaving Vision's Academy and ends with Miles talking with his uncle in his uncle's apartment. I titled this minute, Scary Miles. Purely based off of the, when Miles shows up at the window and goes, Uncle Aaron, were you scared? And then he makes all those faces on the window.
I was going to say, getting up to that point, like Aaron just settling in for the night, like the first, 20 seconds of Aaron settling in and Miles working his way over there. I really like how they cut back and forth between he puts the needle down on the
on the record. He's a vinyl man.
and then sets the levels going up, and it was really fun, cutting it back, and the song that's playing in the background, or that Aaron is listening to, is Hypnotized by the Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah. Love the sequence as well. It's very cool back and forth. Also, Aaron has a serious sound system. He's got quite the sound system hooked up in his apartment.
Yeah, his sound system is massive.
It's huge!
Those speakers look like they're supposed to be stadium speakers or, concert speakers that he has.
I kind of wonder if Aaron was a DJ in a previous life or something. Those are some serious speakers.
Yeah, or just, he's a massive audiophile and wants to be the loudest person on the block.
I don't even know if I noticed all the speakers, but there's two. There's two on the next to where the vinyl is.
Oh yeah.
There's two there, and then I think there's another one by the window that's the same size. So it's three massive speakers, and I'm sure there's more that I missed.
Yeah, there's some when Miles is over by the bag, the punching bag. You can see one in the background that he's just got a cup and a water bottle laid on top of, and
oh yeah.
Yeah,
he's got a picture on one of them. He's just he doesn't use desks. He just uses speakers.
Yeah.
It works. It's awesome. Speaking of the whole setup system, when he's sitting on the couch looking at his phone, did you notice that his wallpaper was him and Miles' dad when they were younger?
Yeah, it looks like it's probably taken it's probably taken a bit before Miles was born.
Oh, no, the one on the phone, I think they're younger. They look almost in their 20s.
Well, I figured they were only in their 30s. Do you think they're in their 40s? 50s?
Okay,
how old do you think his parents are?
Okay, well, let's think about this. Okay, so Miles is 13, right?
Yeah.
So let's say, I don't think his parents had him that young. I was thinking late 30s, maybe.
They're in their late 30s, or that's when they had him?
They're in their late 30s.
So 39,
39, maybe 40.
We'll say 39.
Okay.
Minus 13.
So that would
made them 27, 26. So I can math. Yeah, 26.
That still sounds
not really
to me.
I
guess not.
That would have been,
I guess not.
They look to be in their 20s there.
Well, okay, wait, hold on. His mom's a nurse, right? How long does it take to get to be a nurse?
Probably
can take a while.
25-ish.
25?
Yeah,
okay.
they're not doctors. They don't go they don't get their doctorate, so it doesn't take as long as a doctor.
But it still takes a while to be a nurse.
Yeah, it's
so okay, let's say she was
25,
okay,
26.
It still makes sense. 25, 20, so
assuming they got together after she finished.
28.
Yeah.
Well, I was assuming that they would have had Miles after she finished.
Well, no, I'm saying you can be together and not have kids. I was thinking that they might have gotten together after when she was a nurse. I don't know if it's ever established when they met. I don't think it is, but
yeah.
I think Miles's mom and dad probably met after his dad was hurt in some sort of criminal activity or something, um, and so she was like the nurse that treated him. Like he might have been, stabbed or fell off a ladder or something, and
I don't know why I
like-
really thought you were gonna say fell off of like a building or something. That's where I thought you
that
were
would be
gonna
a
go
lot
with
more
that sentence.
extreme. And so I was thinking like maybe they
Really?
were climbing down a
Sean,
fire
you
escape.
brought up. You're like he got stabbed, or fell off a ladder. Two very different extremes right there.
And so like it would have been soon after she became a nurse, and that's when they first met up, and then like that was when like Jeff was like, okay, gotta clean up my act, and like Aaron never did that, so that's when they sort of split. And then as part of his cleaning up of the act, that would be how
He became a cop.
yeah, that would be that was kind of what put him on that path. And so yeah, and then soon after Miles would have been born, so that would have been 25, 26 for his mom. His mom might be a year or two younger. Then his dad would put him at like 27, and I think that works. And that's sort of like his last good memory, because it would kind of make sense to be like, oh, it's my last good memory of me and my brother, or one of the last ones.
I don't know. Maybe I will say this. Maybe it's like the actor. I know it's an animated film, but maybe it's the actor in me. It's like when you're a parent, they tend to have you play older. They don't have you playing late 30s. They like early 30s. They're usually having you play like, no, you look like you're gonna be in like your 40s or something, because then you definitely look old enough to be a parent. So that just might be the theater me.
Maybe.
I will say that like, because I know people who are like, are in their like 30s, but they look like they're 16.
Yeah, so then here's one of the most subtle bits of like product, well, maybe not subtle, one of the oddest bits of product placement that I've seen in recent movies, and it's
Don't tell me that's an actual product.
yes, it is.
No way.
So QQ is a Chinese messaging app by Tencent, who's one of the largest like companies in the world that very few Western people have heard of until fairly recently. Just this little brief like thing that you don't really notice right away until it's like, oh wait, that really is like something that's real. And it's a trend that I've been like, you notice a lot more in recent films, where as the Chinese market has been growing, you'll see a lot more product placement aimed specifically at China and Chinese audiences. I can remember, I think in one of the Fast and Furious films, like there was some drink there that was like, just a Chinese drink that like didn't really make sense as a product that they would probably have in the scene, but it's just something that's happening more and more.
Isn't like the Chinese movie market, like, you might have said this and I just didn't catch it, but isn't the Chinese market like huge moneymaker, even bigger than America for most Hollywood movies?
It really depends. China has really strict rules on how many foreign films can get in per year. Like I think they limit it to like less than a dozen per year, I think. Unless it's like they have weird rules, because like there's a lot of movies you'll see that have like a production company that helps out, that is there to help it get into the Chinese market a lot easier. But and then he opens it up, and the text he sent you, or the message he sent his uncle, confuses me.
It confuses you. It's Scary Miles. Why do you think I named the minute this?
Yeah, like, I mean, it's just him chilling there, but like, why is there a dancing avocado? And
Why not?
and it kind of, and like the heart eyes, like,
Okay.
it just
That one I might be able to relate
it
to a little bit more
confuses me.
because I might not be as confused with the avocado is weird. I'll give you that. But the heart eyes I might not find as confusing personally because especially if I see my friends in public and I like we didn't plan it or something, I will pretend to be creepy and like take a picture of them where they aren't looking at me and I'll send them like a I see you message and sometimes I'll send like a heart eyes or like a really creepy emoji with them to be like heh. So that just might be a generational thing.
Yeah, and like it kind of reminded me a bit of one time I let one of our younger cousins play on my phone and she was really enthralled with the emoji keyboard on it, and so she was just texting my mom like 200 emojis at a time and just like type away. And it kind of felt
randomly sent an avocado,
and it kind of felt a bit like that where like it was a like Miles should understand this stuff, but it just felt like someone who didn't really get it was just like, oh, push all the buttons. But his feel deliberately placed.
They felt deliberate to me, but I think it's because he was trying to be like a total goofball.
Yeah, I mean, when it cuts over to him on the window, like, it is him being a total goofball.
Yeah. I think it's just supposed to tie in with that. Because, like, if he just sent a picture of his uncle with, what does it say? I can see you?
I'm watching you.
I'm watching you. Without those emojis, that's kind of creepy. Where, like, you send the emojis, then you're just like, oh, it's my idiot nephew.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the reason. I don't know. Maybe I'm justifying it because I also do stuff like that. The reason I send the random emojis is to like let my friends know it's like I'm not being serious. It's me being a goof. Like not trying to freak you out or anything. Like it's someone you know. Don't worry.
Also, Miles has a lot of trust in that window being clean. The way he rubs
so much trust.
The way he just rubs his face all over it, like he is definitely gonna get some disease.
He has no fear. No, he does. He really is just like goes all. Maybe he doesn't worry because he knows he rubs his face on it. It's like it's just me.
He just rubs his face on there so often it's perfectly
this
clean.
Is my window. One thing I do, because this is really the first time we like see it when Miles is rubbing his face on the window like a cat. There's a picture underneath it.
Yeah.
And it looks like it might be a picture of like a little Miles and maybe Aaron.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was just like Miles when he's probably like 6 or so, and Aaron.
It's definitely Miles because that hair is unmistakable.
Yeah.
Like that is like he has his mom's hair. We talked in a previous episode how he's clearly his dad's son. Well, Miles has his mom's hair.
Yeah.
But like he did not take that Davis trait of just like let's go with short or no hair. Did not take that trait. At least in this interpretation. So like that is clearly a young Miles in the picture. I couldn't tell if it was Aaron or Miles's dad in the picture. That was hard for me to make out. I'm assuming.
I'm guessing it's Aaron. It'd be a little weird for Aaron to have. Maybe not weird, but it seems like he would want to have a picture of him and his nephew. Yeah, and like the picture, the photo, and just this whole like the interaction that Miles has with his uncle really just like is really juxtaposes his relationship with his dad, whereas like with his dad it seems very like not stilted but like they're just not nearly as close as he is with his uncle. Like he really gets along with his uncle, and his uncle has that like cool uncle vibe.
Yeah, obviously. Did you see his stereo system?
and you know he's telling his uncle about like a girl at school, and how like I do love how his uncle just can immediately see through all of Miles's lies when he's like, "Oh, how's school?" And he's like, "It's going great. Got tons of friends." And he's like, "You're lying.
Really
like,
that bad?
yeah, you can't tell me it's all that
Yeah.
bad. Like,
Yeah, at first I thought it was like, oh, he's just, Miles is being sarcastic, but no, it does sound like he's trying to be genuine when he's talking about it.
I think he's trying to come off as genuine, but in like, you know, both of them know that he's lying because he doesn't even try to
yeah.
like cover up the fact at all. He's just like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he doesn't even try to like go back and he's like, no, it's true.
Like, yeah, the very next line is, no, there's no one. There's no one.
Nobody. Well, there's this one girl,
Yeah.
which is apparently smart girls, where it's at, according to Aaron.
Yeah. And he probably like, I bet you, you know, he likes his sister-in-law, I bet.
Oh,
That's
definitely.
um
He's probably the one who pushed his brother. It's like, yo, get with her.
yeah.
I have no doubt that Aaron was the cool brother.
And like I love Miles is like, yeah, I got game. Like
I got game.
like he gets defensive then. He's like, hey.
I almost titled this Miles Got Game, but I'm going to save it for a future minute because I know exactly which minute I'm going to name it.
Yeah, and we get some more like some more hints of Aaron's background in this as well, because like, you know, at first we just see him setting up all the stereo systems, but then once Miles enters, like, oh, you notice he's got the punching bags on the wall, and
If you notice behind the punching bags, there's like weapons.
yeah, it looks like there's probably some staffs, maybe a sword.
Yeah, it looked, with the way they were held, it looked Japanese to me, but it could have been Chinese. It's one of those like pagoda
probably
style
Japanese
tips. Yeah, which is when you think Japanese, but I'm like, maybe they also use it in China. But he's got those on the walls. He has a boxing poster near his
Yeah, well,
tattoo.
the
Do you know who that is?
No, I'm not sure. But his shirt he's wearing, it says Brooklyn Mai Tai, Brooklyn Mai Tai Club, which
I was
Mai
trying to
Tai.
figure out what it said.
Yeah, and Mai Tai is a form of Thai. It's Taiwanese martial arts that became popular in the late 20th century. In the U.S., it became really popular then, and like, you know, it's a mixed martial arts that involves a lot of like punches and jabs and kicking and stuff, and you know, martial arts stuff.
You know, with the kicking and the punching.
Yeah, and
the
so
jabs.
he's got some, you know, martial arts background as well. And it's neat to, like, you know, they don't have to come out and say it. And they do a good job of setting that up, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, just some things I noticed, like the weapons I noticed. I did notice that on his shirt is a panther, which I thought was cool, because above his couch, this man seems to really like panthers.
Yeah.
On his couch, it's actually like, I want a print of this. There's a painting of a really cool, like, panther over the couch, and I want a print of that. Like, it looks so cool. And I kind of want to know. I really do. I want a print of that. While Miles is at the punching bag, before Aaron walks over to him, you see a glimpse of something on the TV. Now, I can't remember exactly what this one was, but I knew it was either Donald Glover or Childish Gambino, and it was either the episode of Community or a music video. What was it?
It's Donald Glover in Community.
That's right. Okay, so it's Donald Glover in Community, and he's wearing some Spider-Man merch.
Yeah, I really liked when when I first saw that, like I had to do a double take, and because it is done like it's a pixelated version, like or a
It's very,
lower res version,
yeah.
I like did a double take. I was like, and I wasn't sure if that was if I saw what I thought I saw, but it's also funny because in Homecoming, in Spider-Man Homecoming,
Mm-hmm.
Donald Glover plays a character named Aaron Davis.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
they
so
never say his
cool.
name in the movie, but they around the time of the announcement of Homecoming, there was a push for uh, Donald Glover to play Spider-Man and have the character be Miles Morales, because this was after he had done Miles's voice in the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon for a couple of episodes, and so yeah, this is kind of a like a shout out to that, like, oh hey, we know you wanted him, and then he was announced to be in Homecoming, and people were like, oh, maybe he's gonna be Miles, and then yeah, so they stuck him in. He plays Aaron Davis, and he makes like a reference, like, oh, I got a nephew at home, or back at my place, and so there's this small reference to Miles there.
He does seem more like an Aaron Davis than a Miles Morales to me.
I think he works as an older Miles.
I could see him as an older
He's definitely
Miles.
too old to
Yeah,
play like Miles's current character now. or
definitely. No, okay, you're right. I could see him playing an adult Miles. He would be a good casting choice.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I remember the first time I saw that because I know he was Childish Gambino. I don't watch Community, so I didn't recognize it. And the way it just kind of, the frame is just kind of him getting out of bed and kind of moving to side, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's a music video, because that's what it looked like to me. Like I've seen something like that in music videos a bunch.
yeah.
But I thought that was a cool thing in the room. The only other thing I have is like something I noticed is that next to the couch on one of the speakers, one of the many speakers, there is a framed photo. It looks like it's the same photo that's his wallpaper. Maybe they're a little different, like they might be in a different position, but it looks like it's a framed photo of Aaron and Miles's dad.
Is it the one in front of the plant?
Yes.
Yeah, it does. It looks like it's probably I'm pretty sure it's a different picture because the background's different.
Yeah,
Like the
but it looks very similar.
yeah, it looks like they're leaning against a like a railing or something. But yeah, he definitely, like, even though he's sort of estranged from his brother, he's still like, you can still see that he cares for his family, and still loves them. Yeah, so I really I want to jump back to Miles's journey on his way over to his uncle's house, and one thing I noticed is on the subway platform, as it's panning over, everybody has motion blur except for Miles. Once he comes into frame, and like even though it's still moving, the the instant he's in frame, he is perfectly clear and you can see him. And then like everybody else snaps into frame. It only lasts for a couple of frames, but it was something like interesting, and I'm not sure if that was just a like, I'm not sure why they did it. I don't know if it's because it's so quick. It really doesn't seem like your eye would focus on Miles immediately, but it might just be something really subconscious, where the fact that he's solid, kind of like he's got much sharper lines, that your eye's drawn to it and knows where to look immediately, even though he's coming in from off screen.
That feels like what it might probably be the case. Like there's something on a subconscious level, like, oh, there's something clear in this blurriness. That's what you're going to focus on.
Yeah, and then as he's coming out of the subway, there's a taxi that goes by, on one of the yellow cabs, and on top of it,
Is it another advertisement for, what is it, Custard and Purgatory?
yes, but no.
Oh.
Um, it
Dang it,
is
they didn't go and splurge for the 3 advertisement.
no. This one has a it just has a number 5 on its dorsal
Oh.
advertisement. Um, and it makes me thinking like, are they counting up to something, or because in the previous minute, the Chance the Rapper cover, they changed
Oh
his
yeah,
the
4.
number on his hat from 3 to 4. So it makes me think, 5. The previous minute was 4. Is there a 3, 2, 1 that we missed? Um, I'll have to go back and see if I can find that out, and we have to keep an eye out for the number 6 somewhere and see if they are counting to something, like or and counting up. Counting up's weird too because there's really no end to counting up. You can
Yeah.
just keep on going. Um,
Yeah, I did notice one thing on the travel as well. It's another subway station, and it says Benson Ave. I don't really. That doesn't sound like a subway stop, at least that I've ever heard of. Assuming he's still in Brooklyn, I don't think that's a Brooklyn stop.
so yeah, Benson Avenue is a real street in Brooklyn, but it like you said, it doesn't have a. It's not an actual stop, but it was picked because I believe it was Rodney Rothman who was one of the co-directors on the movie.
Hmm.
His father grew up on Benson Avenue in Brooklyn,
Oh.
and I think it was him because it was on the audio commentary, and I have a lot of difficulty picking out their different voices. They all kind of sound the same, and
Yeah.
they don't keep saying their names, so I always have to go back and like try to guess. Um, but yeah, I believe it was one of the either it was one of the co-directors. Um, One of their dads grew up on it, Benson Avenue in Brooklyn, so they stuck that in there as sort of an homage to him.
Aw, I like that. That's cute.
Yeah,
The only thing I have is the time lapse. When we see Miles leaving Visions, it still looks like that sort of golden hour of the day, like we saw ending the last minute. But by the time he gets to the apartment, it looks like it's just starting to get dark. It's not fully night yet because there's still some blue in the sky. It's not black yet. And especially like in New York, like when the sun is setting, there's still a little bit of blue, even though when the sun is down before it's fully night.
yeah, yeah. I really liked that they showed that, like, hey,
Yeah.
this was kind of it wasn't like he was just popping over to the apartment complex next door. Like he had to
He
move a
actually had
bit.
to travel.
So if you don't have anything else about the minute, I want to bring up Aaron Davis's voice actor. He's voiced by Mahershala Ali, who originally, for the first decade of his career, get rid of me to butcher this, but he he
Apologies to listeners if he butchers this.
there is no if, only.
Apologies to listeners when he butchers this.
That's better. He goes by he was Mahershala Al Hashbaz. Mahershala Al Hashbaz. So anyway, he did that for the first decade of his career, and then he was told that his name was too long to fit on a poster, and so he was like, "Okay, maybe I should shorten it now."
That's a nice way to put it.
His breakout role on TV was um, in Crossing Jordan, where he played Dr. Trey Sanders from 2001 to 2002. And then he appeared on Threat Matrix and 4400 from 2003 to 2004, and then 2004 to 2007. He's probably most well known for playing Remy Danton on House of Cards from 2013 to 2016. And then he also appeared in another Marvel property as Cornell Cottonmouth Stokes in the first season of Luke Cage. And most recently, he was on True Detective, on the third season of True Detective. And for his movies, his breakout movie role was in 2008, where he was in The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. And then he appeared in parts 1 and 2 of The Hunger Games Mockingjay as Boggs. And he appeared in Hidden Figures in 2016. And also in 2016, he won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in Moonlight.
That's where I thought he won the Academy Award for this year.
Yeah, where he was the first Muslim actor to win that award. And then he also got a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actor in Green Book. And most recently, he was in Alita: Battle Angel.
Yeah, he's a great actor. I personally enjoy him.
Yeah, when I looked him up and I first saw him, I was like, oh, I know him from something, but I wasn't sure what. And then I realized it was probably from Luke Cage, and then when I also saw he was in Hidden Figures, I was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, definitely. I remember seeing him, and that's really those two things are what I remember him from. So that's all I have for this minute. Is there anything else?
No, that's all I have for this minute as well.
Thank you for joining us again on this Monday, this beautiful Monday. And join us on Wednesday where we will be looking at minute 11. See you guys next time.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.